a cool Easter egg that people look out for. Then there's people who feel like you got to watch the commercials, you got to watch the movie, and you also got to watch the ending credits to find out if there's an extra piece. And you can't pee anywhere in the middle because then you're going to just miss out. What is going on, YouTube? It's the Unexceptional Vlogger here. Hope you didn't hit a 30-second ad on the way in. So the reason we're here is because of the title, or if you're on mobile, it's down below. The reason is because we're all here to see what Annabelle creation is like now in theaters. So this past weekend, I went ahead and watched that movie with the family, and it was awesome. I mean, it really started slow, but hold on. Before I get into any more reviews, reviewing movies is a new thing for my channel, so I wanted to start y'all off with the right format. For every movie, there's going to be a little bit differentiating criteria, but for horror movies, scary movies, we're going to go by these 5. So basically, it's going to go by jump scares and horrors, how many there were, not exact numbers, but just, what you can expect, what kind of terror there was in there. Number 2, we're going to get into character selection. And 3, it's going to be setting, what was that like. 4th is going to be the storyline. 5th is going to be overview. And then finally, you're going to get the review. At the very end, I'm going to sum it all up and give you a star rating out of 5, whether you should go and spend your hard-earned money and take out the people that you know and love to go watch blank movie. Jump scares, of course. There's a plethora in this movie. It's become the meta in every scary movie for as long as I can remember. The only thing is that the very beginning started off with about 3 really big jump scares. Toward the end, those jump scares are gone. They have turned to pure 100% terror. I mean, they are absolutely scary moments that, I mean, it really gave me anxiety. I was anxiety ridden at the edge of my seat, like, oh my God, I know what they've done earlier in this movie, and I know what they're going to do to me now toward the end. So as the storyline takes place, and I'm going to try and avoid any spoilers, and if I do, I'll throw up a notification, or maybe I'll save them till the end of the video. But anything coming forward is not anything that you don't already know from trailers that you could easily find on the internet. So the storyline takes place, I think this is like the 3rd or 4th installment. To be honest, I've never seen any Annabelles or Conjurings in the past. This is my first experience, and wow. Just like wow, really. Storyline takes place with this couple, and I believe their last name is Mullins, and so they used to have a daughter, and her name was Annabelle. She was a real little girl, wasn't a doll. They were a blissful family. I believe the little girl was like 3 or 4. She was like walking, talking, fully functioning, but not obviously not in like 5th grade or any kind of like that age group. So Annabelle was out in the street where her dad was actually fixing their truck. A wheel had broken loose or something had happened with the car. And so a lug nut comes loose and rolls into the street. Well, Annabelle goes and says, I'll get it. And in a blink of an eye, she is coming into the street, and there's this truck just hauling down the road. And it was coming at such velocity that outside of the movie, actually I want to think in the actor studio, when they were doing this in Hollywood, how did they actually get that truck, because it came so close, how did they get it to stop and not hit the little girl? Or maybe it was done with CGI. I'm not sure, but that actually blew my mind. Couldn't believe it. So basically the storyline continues to where the parents are obviously distraught. They have no idea what to do with themselves because they just lost their daughter, and it was the only child. So they did what any irrational parent might do, and so they prayed and they launched their wishes out to any entity that would answer them and bring their little girl back. Well, an entity answered. And again, they didn't care who or what entity it was. It happened to be the devil. So a demon comes back as the little girl, but it can't stay for long. It needs a permanent vessel. So the dad is a doll maker, and they have a life-size doll of a kid. And so the demon asks, through the vessel of the little girl temporarily, to move into the doll permanently and stay at the house. So the parents don't want to just get their daughter back for a few moments and a few days, so they say, yes, you can move into the doll. So that's how Annabelle comes to creation, and I'm going to let y'all go ahead and watch the rest of the movie, but that's the premise. That's what this story is based off of. All right, so character selection. I absolutely hated this movie. In the first 15 minutes, it was awful. I couldn't believe I was going to sit through the rest of this. The only thing keeping me interested in the storyline was two little girls, and that's because they had a storyline all their own. It was two little girls in an orphanage, and they didn't want to leave each other alone. If they ever got adopted into another family, the other one said that they wouldn't get adopted unless the other one did. They had a cool little sister relationship going on, and it completely turned me away from a horror flick. I was like, I'm not even watching whatever craziness, door slamming, loud jump scares are going on. I'm more interested in this little sub movie. Did my mind change fast. So character selections were great. The older kids in the orphanage played their roles the way they should. Kind of older sister domineering kind of roles. The only thing I think they could have chosen as a character better was the dad. He kind of had a low grumble voice, and it really detracted from the character that he was trying to play. I know he was trying to play a solemn, grief-stricken dad whose wife is badly injured. She can't walk anymore, and there's a polio outbreak going on in this character world that we're watching. He halfway sounded like he was doing an audition for the next Batman film. It was absolutely kind of weird where he was coming from. Other than that, character selections were awesome. Just to move into settings were great. Other than the fact that it takes place in a big mansion that is, kind of worn on the outside, kind of country, out in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of disappointing that we haven't evolved from taking our horror movies from this big white or whatever color it be, but it's typically like an eggshell white mansion, kind of deteriorating house, and all the doors kind of creak and all the stairways are kind of brittle. I'd like to see something move more toward, I don't know, like a mall, or say that neighborhood, something different than this country solemn house that is surrounded by no neighbors. It's just kind of outplayed and really, really dated. Although there was something refreshing seen, is that they do branch out of the house and actually go into like a barn area nearby the house, and some pretty crazy scenes take place in there. And actually that's where you know what, I don't want to let that go. See, it's kind of hard to tell you and review a movie without letting any spoilers or any kind of red herrings go that might play into your experience watching the movie. So I'll just leave that to you. Moving on to the fifth category, which is overview. I like this movie, even though for a horror movie, Annabelle, I'm not sure if this takes place in all the other ones, but not too many people died. Actually, the ones that did die were absolutely gruesome, but for the most part, people just got maimed and badly, savagely injured, and kind of in a cool way. I mean, pretty unique stuff. I would definitely recommend you go and check it out. So let's just move right on over to the review. All right, so as we move into the last portion, which is the review, I would like to say I would recommend it. All in all, even with the well-exhausted settings of, the house, like I said before, the father could have played a better role. For the most part, you don't have to see previous parts to the movie, to the whole brand franchise that is Annabelle and Conjuring. This is my first one, and I had a very pleasant experience. Although there was 3 times, one in the beginning, one in the middle, and one at the end, where they may have given like a little homage back to a previous part, but it really didn't play a gigantic role to a first-time viewer. It may have just been like, oh my gosh, this was that, to somebody who has been seasoned and has been watching the series through. But like I said, it doesn't detract from a first-time viewer. And finally, let me add that there's no reason to buy popcorn. You can buy a drink if you want to, but definitely no food or anything like that, because you're gonna waste it. You're absolutely gonna just be sitting on the edge of your seat, probably clawing into your boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever unfortunate person you invite to this movie, because it's absolutely terrifying. If you're looking for a movie that you're in high school and you want to invite your girlfriend to because you want her to jump and you want her to like lean towards you, this probably is a good one or a bad one depending on how you look at it. I mean, because you're going to be screaming and wetting your pants as well. But as long as you can keep a stone face, poker face, and remain calm and be that structure that your girlfriend or boyfriend is looking for, then this is definitely a good one. Like I said, personally, I went with the family and it was an amazing experience. At the end of the movie, there wasn't anything that we had like deep psychological thoughts about, like, oh, what was going on with this character, like other movies might probe you to think. This one was more like, why didn't this character, burn this? Or why didn't this character do this? If I was in the movie, I would have done this. It was kind of conversations like that. Not so much, like I said, the psychological or deep thinking questions and conversations that you might feel from another movie. Whoa, hold on. I think there's a bonus for this movie, actually. I know that there's some people who feel like, and this is me personally, if you don't get to the movie to watch the commercials beforehand, then the movie's not complete. You actually wasted your $12 because you only got to see the movie. I need to see the commercials to make myself happy and feel like I watched the entire movie. Now, again, there's another section of people that feel like you got to watch the ending. You got to watch all the credits just to find out if there's somebody or something, like a scene that you're going to miss. And usually it's like 40 seconds and it's kind of like a jump scare or just adds a tiny bit extra to the movie, which I will agree. It does sometimes have a payoff. Other times it's just kind of like a cool Easter egg that people look out for. Then there's people who feel like you got to watch the commercials, you got to watch the movie, and you also got to watch the ending credits to find out if there's an extra piece. And you can't pee anywhere in the middle because then you're going to just miss out. Well, to you end watchers, yes, there is an ending thing. Stay to the movie, to the end of the movie. Watch the little bit of credits. It doesn't happen too far into the credits. And it's about 30 to 40 seconds. Spoiler alert. If you don't want to know what it is, pause the movie, or I would say skip ahead maybe 15 seconds. So I'm going to say it really quick just so those people who did skip ahead 15 seconds don't have to actually catch the end of the spoiler. So anyway, it just shows a zoomed in version of Annabelle's head and it slightly turns to the right. That's it. So anyway, hopefully if you skipped and didn't want to watch the spoiler, you're catching me right now. And good luck watching this movie. Try not to pee your pants. Invite someone that you don't mind being embarrassed in front of. All in all, 4.6. That's my movie rating right there. All right, thanks for watching as always. And subscribe if you're new. Drop the like. I'm out. Why are you still watching this video? It's over.